Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.
Hi there everyone, welcome to this presentation about my book, Beyond Roswell. A little bit of information about what has been used to uncover the evidence within this book. So, sources that I've utilised are the FBI Vault UFO documents. These are from 1 to 16. These are like 74 documents in each, so they're available publicly. It's extensive, so I recommend a good week or 2 weeks to read through them, to be honest. So the CIA Vault, these documents, that the CIA UFO documents, they call it their X-Files, which is quite funny. And there's photographs also of flying saucers, which are available publicly. Some that are debunked, and a good chunk of them are actually unexplained and remain unexplained, like the McMinnville photograph taken in 1950, and a few others, which are very interesting. Again, that's all included in the book. The US Air Force Project Blue Book files, so Project Grudge and Project Sign, that's available as an ebook on Amazon Kindle, or a paperback, but it's slightly more expensive, I think. Or it's on the US Air Force website. I think you can download it as a PDF. I got the ebook personally, just because I needed it for the study, but it's quite extensive, the book itself. Again, it's Project Sign, Grudge and Blue Book. Project Sign ran from 1947 to 1949, and then Grudge from 49 to 51, and then Blue Book, which was the longest of the running, which was 52 to 1969. And then you've got the eyewitness testimony, which is also included throughout my book. And this is from researchers such as Kevin Randall, Leonard Stringfield, Philip Mantle, Nick Pope, David Rudiak, and also the Roswell UFO Museum's library and archives. I've been in contact with an archivist named Snow Operator, and she's very, very knowledgeable on all the books and all the archival information that's in the museum itself. So yes, this is all the evidence that's been utilised in this book. I've spared no not expense. What's the word? I've tried to uncover every stone, basically, unturn every stone with regards to the evidence itself. So it's seen throughout the book. Again, it took about 7 months to compile this in total. So it's a very, very extensive book. If you are interested in UFOs, it's quite extensive. Probably not anything near what Kevin Randall or Leonard Stringfield or any of the other researchers like Nick Pope or Philip Mantle have looked at, but it's pretty extensive. Tried my best to sort of hit the mark with those guys, but again, it's I recommend those works as well. So the UFO evidence, then this is the most important part, and the tests of metal not of this earth, which is very, very, very important with regards to UFOs, because most people, they will just dismiss it based on the fact that, oh, there's no evidence. Scientists straight away, oh, it's a fringe topic, there's no evidence. Aha, but we have the evidence now. And again, it's echoed in my book, and my book I'm currently working on, which will be part 2. This subject is nowhere near finished for me, and there's lots more research to be done. Hence why I'm making a second book, and maybe a third book down the line. But I'll elaborate more on this evidence in book 2. But I've utilised a lot of documentary evidence in Beyond Roswell. Again, this picture here I took from the FBI files. This is a picture of the metal that was found. So a UFO exploded over Maori Island. I think it was July 1947, and this was the fragments. It killed, so that there was a chap who was fishing on his boat, and a fragment of this metal here landed and killed his dog, injured his son. And when they tested the metal, it was found to have been of strange molten, not material from space, not of this earth. They concluded, oh well, it must just be some strange parts of a meteor, a meteor from outer space, which then would make it something outer space extraterrestrial. So they admitted there and then that there was something extraterrestrial. They just put it down to a meteor because they were trying to debunk it. But my book will show you the real findings of that material. Again, that material can be found on the archives. Where the material is now, I don't know. They say they destroyed it. I don't think they did. Anyway, I'm divulging. So I'll read out the points here. So, a significant scientific study was published in 2013, entitled UFO Crash at the Plains of San Augustine by researcher Art Campbell. Now, Art Campbell's very fascinating because he actually went out to the plains of San Augustine site where the UFO was purportedly taken on July 4th, 1947. Again, we have lots of eyewitness testimony corroborating this. Archaeologists who were on the site. We've got others who were there too. So there's lots of eyewitness testimony to this. Again, it's echoed throughout the book and throughout Kevin Randall and other researchers' work. Yes, so Gerald Anderson is one of the biggest proponents to these Plains of San Augustine crash. He reported seeing 3 alien creatures there with strange material that you could wad up in your hand and let go and it would return to its original position. Again, this is what's been found in the research and on the plains of San Augustine site. So this case is now beyond reasonable doubt that a strange extraterrestrial craft did crash in July of 1947. So anyway, I divulge again. UFO crash at the plains of San Augustine is written by researcher Art Campbell. The book documents isotopic analysis of unusual metallic material recovered from the plains of San Augustine in New Mexico, a site identified through both my research and that of multiple independent investigators. Campbell coordinated analysis across 15 different scientists and multiple laboratories, so he's not confined to just one, like, because it could easily be dismissed then and say, oh, well, that scientist wasn't doing his job correctly. But 15 different scientists can't lie, in my opinion. He used standard isotopic testing methods. The conclusion that was reached was very interesting. The material does not match any known terrestrial isotopic signature, cannot be attributed to known Earth-based manufacturing processes, displays characteristics inconsistent with natural or conventional human-made alloys. The researchers concluded that the material was not of earthly origin, which is, now that's significant. That tells you what you need to know right here and right now. So why does this matter? Well, for decades, the US Air Force and US military have publicly denied the recovery of anomalous materials. This study represents one of the few peer-informed scientific analysis addressing physical evidence rather than eyewitness testimony. So we're not just going off eyewitness testimony here, we've got the evidence to back it up. It's very important. Now, we're supposed to have disclosure. I've talked about this in the last video I did in July this year, marking the, actually July 8th, marking the same day the Roswell report was put out, or the Roswell newspaper headline of crash disk has been captured by RAF. Now, it's significant because, not to go back, sorry, stay on this one here. It's significant because we could now be looking at disclosure this year that we are not alone. Again, the evidence is here, as you can see with my PowerPoint. The evidence is out there. We just need it to be confirmed, and that's it. Confirmed by governmental bodies, confirmed by US Air Force members, confirmed by higher ranking officials to say, yes, we have had this in study for 70 plus years. Again, something interesting from a CIA top individual in the recent UAP hearing of September 2025. He says, if you search on Google right now, do aliens exist? The answer will be that we have no scientific evidence to suggest that aliens have landed here or crashed here. Now, that's splitting hairs, which is very interesting. Again, this is only on Wikipedia and other informants that can be manipulated by different organisations. There's no scientific evidence. What that means is that we can't go to the planet and say, so science needs a reference point. We can't go to that planet and say, hey, yes, such and such, this material is from Zeta Reticuli or Planet X or what have you. We can't know. Of course, it's splitting hairs. This is exactly what he said verbatim. It's splitting hairs. this is the way they're playing it down. Oh, well, actually, we can't scientifically prove it. Yeah, because we can't go to that planet. We can't travel 39 light years to that planet. So, yes, of course, we can't scientifically prove it. That would mean having to go to the planet and say, yes, that comes from X. So, whenever I see, oh, well, we have no scientific evidence, I take that with a bucket of salt, because we do have evidence, as you can see here. It's just that we can't go to that planet and prove it. Now, my last point, what are the key points addressed in Beyond Roswell, Cold War cover-ups and conspiracy theories? Well, I've got a few points here that I address in my book. Again, it's about 225 pages long, so you may want a good reading lamp and some time to read this. Yes, so the Roswell reports of 1997, and so that's the Roswell report, case closed, and facts versus fiction in the New Mexico desert. Again, I've got my dates wrong there. It was 1995 and 1997, not 2005. I do apologise about that. When were extensive, but they weren't inconclusive. They were inconclusive. Sorry, relying on evidence that does not match the 1947 events. So they relied heavily on evidence that was 10 years later down the line, like anthropomorphic test dummies that do not explain away what these eyewitnesses were seeing of the heads larger than heads larger than bodies, strange almond-shaped eyes. That's not what you see on anthropomorphic test dummies. This eyewitness testimony is echoed and corroborated across about 300 different eyewitnesses. I mean, we're looking at a phenomenal amount of people that have seen the same thing. Again, in a court of law, that's beyond reasonable doubt, in my opinion, and in a judge's opinion. The timeline there's timeline mismatches majorly, as I've explained. The key Air Force documents omit July 1947, focusing instead on later periods of the 1950s and 60s. So we're out of when they say, oh, you can't use eyewitness testimony from the 80s and the 90s that are 30 years after the event. Well, guess what? You can't use testimony that's 50 and 10, 20 years later than the event too. That works both ways. So who's lying? I would tend to find that the documents that the Air Force is applying are incorrect and they don't have all the information. It's heavily compartmentalized across different organizations, and that's echoed throughout my work. They've not done their due diligence properly, in my opinion. They've got the documents that are in their archives, but documents can be removed, as been proved by Stanton Friedman, the researcher. As I said, the crash test dummy explanation completely fails. Dummies were not used until 1953. That's a key point. What people were seeing was in 1947, and 6 years later, the timeline doesn't hold. Eyewitnesses were describing beings of 4 and 4.5 feet, and the crash test dummies are much taller than that, much larger than that, 7 or 8 feet at times. So yes, you can't get this wrong. Eyewitness testimony consistency. Independent witnesses report non-human bodies, unusual materials, and military recovery operations. Compartmentalization of evidence. I've already spoke about that. Information appears removed or restricted, not simply debunked. That's been proved by Kevin Randall, David Rudiak, Stanton Friedman, Leonard Stringfield. That's been proved time and time again. The Ramey memo anomaly is also uncovered. Mentions of victims contradict the mere weather balloon narrative, which was put forward in 1947, as put forward again in 1995 and 1997. Again, they're trying to use the same old cover-up, and unfortunately it's simply not going to fly. The Arroyo photograph, which is a very, very interesting piece. It was released in the Roswell report, Fact versus Fiction in the New Mexico Desert. It's a blurred but significant image released by the Air Force and shows a craft-like object consistent with witness descriptions. Again, you'll see it in the next slide. It's just on the bottom of the Arroyo there on the left. And again, it's been looked at by investigators. They've looked at the image again and again, enhanced it. You'll see an enhanced image that I've got next here, and it does show a craft. There's no doubt about it. Many people are seeing it, and guess what? The Air Force report is, oh, well, it's too blurry an image. We can't see it. It's just a B-roll film. Yeah, okay then. And so you're going to argue that all these investigators and all these researchers and all these scientists are just seeing a bit of an anomaly? I don't think so. So to conclude on this, the weather balloon explanation is not supported by evidence, timelines, or testimony. So we rule it out in Beyond Roswell, Cold War cover-ups, and conspiracy theories. So thanks for listening, guys, and make sure to check the book out. The link is in the description, and there, folks, is the Arroyo craft picture. You can see it craft there, which again, it's echoed in my book. It's consistent with the testimony and the craft which is described by many who were at the crash site, and across multiple composite reconstructions of the craft, it looks exactly like that. So thank you for listening, and please do get a copy and let me know what you think. Thank you.